Where's everyone going? Bingo?
The Resident Evil 4 remake is one of those games where you ask yourself, the original is still so good, does this need to be remade? I knew from the moment the Resident Evil 2 remake was a success that Capcom would likely do more, but I half expected them to do 4 before 3. It just made sense to me. It was the more popular game, and for better or worse, it changed Resident Evil forever. So what's it look like? How are we feeling about the visuals in this one? Does it maintain that dark and gritty atmosphere of the original, or does it try to do something else altogether? I don't think you're going to be disappointed here. This is one of the best looking Resident Evil games ever created, if not the best looking. I don't even need to attempt to beat around the bush. This game is beautiful. This remake is the finest visual achievement Capcom has put to this engine. And don't get me wrong, I still love the way that the remake for 2 looks, and a game like Village has some amazing moments in its own right. But they didn't just bring their A game here, they achieved S rank with the visuals in this game. I could gush to you guys forever because I love this game so much about all of the little details in the presentation. And we could just talk about, the detail on clothes or the water in specific areas. There's not a lot of water in this game, blood effects. All of that stuff is amazing. But some standouts for me, just like in the original game, is when Leon first steps out of the vehicle and he's walking to the cabin, and the way it looks in the remake already sort of sets the tone from what you can expect in the presentation. That first walk back through the village area when you come back with Ashley, all of that rain hitting her, hitting him, the ground, the gusts of wind blowing dusts and water all around you, that part is probably my favorite in the entire game. If I'm just thinking about visuals, that's probably my favorite part. Those moments really stood out to me, but it's the little things in this game. And it's not always about, how great the water is, the lighting, the textures. It's not always about that stuff.
Such a stickler for details, huh?
One of my favorite details in this game is Leon can be shooting an enemy, and you can sometimes view this relock technique when he's in close quarters combat. The way he's holding the pistol, it's different, but it just looks so damn cool. You could probably tell I'm getting a little excited just talking about it in this review. Another cool one, and it's not necessarily exclusive to the Resident Evil 4 remake, and people may not notice stuff like this when they're playing, but he will often hold his index finger around the trigger, but not looking like he's about to squeeze it when he's not in combat. And for the first time while doing the playthrough for this review, I noticed that after sprinting a little bit, Leon becomes slightly winded, and you can see that by looking at his chest. His breathing pattern changes a bit, and I haven't seen this in too many games. I played this on PS5 when it first came out, and I played it on PC later. I am playing this on PC for this review. It looks insane on both, and if you like the Resident Evil games, I don't know how you could come away disappointed with how this looks. A lot of what you remember from the original and its gameplay is still very much here. Some of it is completely gone, and that's okay because we have some new cool things to talk about. I've spent enough time with this now where I'm over the prisoner of the moment period or that honeymoon period that people like to talk about. But in my personal opinion, no third-person action horror game plays better than this one. None that are as fun as RE4 can be, and the best part is there's a few different ways you can play it. I spent most of my time taking a lot of headshots, and if all I could get out of that was a stumble, I made sure to take advantage with a melee attack of some kind. The idea that you need to be too careful with ammo in this game doesn't really exist the same way it does in other Resident Evil games. I think that this would apply to the original version as well. More often than not, ammo is handed out like candy in this game. All you need is some well-placed shots, and you'll never completely run out. Even though that there's a few different ways you can play this game, I love diving into the deep end with most situations because it's just so damn fun to play. The shooting feels on point. I don't know if I've ever played another third-person game with guns that makes it feel this damn good. I also think Capcom heard the complaints about the Resident Evil 2 remake. Some of the guns in that game felt great, but they didn't sound as good as they could have. Developers can throw everything off when you have guns in your game and they look really cool, but the sound is off or the feel is off. Resident Evil 4 does not have that problem, as this becomes evident in just the first hour. All of the weapons feel great here, and my first time playing, I think I gave a slow clap for that. I use a little bit of everything when I play these games, but I think pistols are my go-to. I enjoy those most. Something about the way that they fit the atmosphere, the characters, Leon, Claire, and Jill, they look cooler, they look more professional. A character doesn't look as cool when they're holding a gigantic sniper rifle in a game. They just don't. Yeah, so all of the handguns are great here. Each one will give you similar results, but some can be better depending on the area and the situation in the game. The Red 9 is back. If you were wondering, the Red 9 is in the game. The Blacktail is my favorite. That is best for me. Fully upgraded, and I'm not kidding when I say this, fully upgraded, there is not a bad weapon in this game. If SMGs are your thing, they have you covered. If shotguns are your thing, they have you covered. RPGs, you know, that's a possibility, but it's probably going to take some extra effort. And that's kind of boring anyway. Just RPG your way through the entire game. I don't know. Not really for me. I just love headshotting those enemies for the easy kills. A side note though, some weapons are better than others for that. Of course, you can still cripple enemies and give them that sweet kick to the chest and face. Sometimes they may even fall flat on their back or flat on their face and begin to morph into something far worse, and you'll have a chance to stab them and take care of that in a hurry. While I do have the knife on the brain, there is also a ton of opportunities for a bit of stealth in the game. It just becomes another way to save on ammo, and I would use it quite a bit. While I do prefer that, you know, shoot first, ask questions later approach, just, you know, stealthing sometimes, it helps. Yeah, I don't know why, I'm a hoarder like that. I enjoy seeing a lot of ammo in my inventory, even though I know I won't need it in most scenarios. The knife is also here for you as a form of blocking and even parrying this time around. Some enemies will come at you with only one smaller weapon in hand or no weapons in hand. With the right timing, Leon can slice their arms off, and that's quite fun to watch. I'd say it's been at least 4 or 5 years since I played the original version of the game, so I don't remember everything you can or can't do, but few games do combat defense like Resident Evil 4. If stabbing or parrying, slicing someone's arm off, if that's not enough for you, you can also deflect objects thrown at you by shooting them, throwing other objects like a grenade or a flashbang, and even hit them while they're in midair. If I can throw grenades and flashbangs at objects being thrown at me, that's an insane amount of detail in a game. So a good chunk of the time, physics are somewhat being respected in this remake. It's quite entertaining. Depending on the object the enemies have in hand, Leon can also shoot the hands and disarm them quickly. Explosives and Molotovs can still be shot while still in the enemy's hand. That's not exclusive to this game or this remake, but it's still really cool. Again, a lot of what we remember from the original is still here. It's the work in animation and the better movement that sets this remake apart. And yes, if you're wondering, you can still suplex enemies from behind if that's your style. I think one of the better strategies is to stumble enemies any chance you get. So whether that's through gunshots or using something like the flashbangs, you can quickly get behind them and jab their neck. Those moments will help you save on ammunition if you find yourself concerned with that. Inventory management, yeah, it's still a thing in Resident Evil 4, despite being more of an action game. I'll be honest, I've never been very good at managing mine in these games. I tried to be a bit better for it during the playthrough for this review, trying to get my ammo all in one section of the case, or my first aid all in kind of the same section of the case. I guess it worked okay, but some people have mastered this game and its inventory. I'm just not one of them. I ain't got time for all that. I want to get back to shooting enemies in the face. Of course, as you progress, this gets a little bit easier because you can up the size of your case, allowing for more and more items. 2 important points for me was to always make sure that I had enough SMG ammo and enough pistol ammo, and at least 2 first aid sprays. What you carry, what you value most, what is your favorite weapon, it's all preference in this game at the end of the day. Most of the time, there is no right or wrong answer. I will say, though, that there is no doubt some surefire inventory strategies if you're trying to achieve S rank on everything. I haven't brought myself to that point yet. I haven't attempted S rank on, like, professional. This remake's been out for a couple of years now, so if you're wondering about the merchant in all of his glory, yes, he has returned.
Welcome. Got a selection of good things on sales. Thank you. Thank you.
And he may even have some new weapons and items for you. You still get the laughing, you get the what are you buying, and I got some good things on sale, stranger type of lines. Always check in with him if he's nearby. He'll often have a comment or two about having some special deal, a new thing on sale, as long as you're in the vicinity. Along with some of the merchant areas, there are often these mini games that you can also play to earn tokens. Once you have these tokens, they can be used to buy charms for your case that will give you different effects and stat boosts. I had to research this a little bit because I wanted to know if I was missing out on anything. So I looked up every charm that you can get for the case, and a couple of them are completely worthless. I would say that there are about 4 of them that are extremely useful, but other than that, I don't know, man. If nothing else, the challenge rooms can serve as a fun distraction from main missions, treasure hunting, yes, that's also still a thing, shooting blue medallions and chasing rats around the castle. Perhaps the biggest changes from the original to this remake is the overall level design and story beats. For example, you don't rescue Ashley the exact same way, but you do rescue her again multiple times. The layout of areas like the castle is completely different, and you can't approach it the same way that you did in the original. There's no cable car section with Ashley, and I never really cared much for that anyway, so it's not a big loss for me. The setup for the Mendez fight is quite a bit different, though the fight itself is amazing, it feels very similar to the original. Man, I love that boss battle. It's one of the most memorable in the history of video games.
God, I thank you for your gift.
You want to get ugly? Let's get ugly.
Should have known you were one.
That whole section where you play as Ashley has been refined and remade. I can tell that this section in particular received a lot of attention from the developers, and the results are quite good, I'd say. The puzzle piece section in the original may not have been good for newcomers. I'm gonna say that they went to the drawing board and probably felt like some of those sections that you did with Ashley in the original felt more like a chore. So what about things like the minecart section? It's still very much on rails, both literally and from an agency standpoint. I like the changes. I think they're better for it, and you get more of a cinematic experience while you're tilting, aiming, and shooting. First encounter with Krauser, it's a lot different too.
Not good.
This section is much less reliant on QuickTime events. You'll need to block and parry, as it does prove to be a little more challenging. I love that first knife fight with him though. I think it's everything that they're doing at the beginning of that fight that reminds me a lot of the knife fight in Under Siege. If you haven't seen that, it's a great movie with Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee Jones. I do wonder a little bit if they drew any inspiration from that movie at all during the first bits of this fight. I seriously have zero complaints about the gameplay. I can't find any fault in this when it comes to how I would have wanted a Resident Evil 4 remake to play. And the best part is, I didn't even cover everything possible that's in the gameplay. I feel like you would need at least 45 minutes to an hour just to talk about every single thing that you can do during the gameplay.
Well, after 6 years, that is one hell of a greeting, Ada.
You don't seem surprised. Interesting.
Try using knives next time. Better for close encounters.
I don't spoil the story much in these reviews anyway, but thankfully, Resident Evil 4 has one of those that doesn't really have much to cover, even if they did expand on the lore quite a bit in this remake. It's quite simple. You're Leon Kennedy, and you've been tasked with coming to rescue the president's daughter, Ashley. If I'm understanding this and the original correctly, I think Sadler's plan was to infect Ashley with Plaga, then have her sent back to the United States where she would no doubt infect the president and other high-ranking officials. Sadler would then, of course, have absolute power and control everything beyond those moments.
Right. How about we continue this discussion another time?
We have Louise thrown into the mix. He also used to work for Umbrella because, of course he did. That's something Leon learns later. It's not good news for Louise, though, because he was already walking on thin ice with Leon at that point. I think Luis is actually a pretty cool character. He's well voiced, he's got like a pretty cool look, and he also holds the answers on how Leon and Ashley can both rid themselves of this problem that they both now have. Ada Wong is back, looking as fine as ever, playing these continued mind games with Leon, who she also not so secretly seems to care for quite a bit, I'd say. Leon is always juggling these struggles with beautiful women, some type of virus or infection, and just not knowing who to trust. This man lives some kind of messed up yet somehow awesome lifestyle. I don't know how it works. And he's got sweet hair. I couldn't pull it off, but it's pretty sweet. Playing RE4 and experiencing the story has always been this bittersweet thing for me. I get it, man. Some bad guys, they need to die. They've done horrible things, but it would have been cool to have Krauser come back and make some grand entrance in one of the other Resident Evil games or something. I think Krauser's just got an awesome design. I wish we could have done more with his character. Resident Evil 4 Remake is god tier, rookie. I'm not saying I would never again play the original version, but after playing through this 3 or 4 times now, I'm left asking myself, why would I play the old version? Capcom took everything that worked well in the original and improved on perfection. How's that even possible? I don't know. It just sounds good. The shooting, the overall gameplay is the most fun I've had in just about any third-person action game with horror elements or not. That's not to say that there aren't survival horror elements here. There's a ton of that Resident Evil atmosphere and gore to this, and they can do a lot because of the engine that they're using, so it adds to that. It adds to the flavor. It just plays much more like an action horror game. But the horror that is here will bend you over and pull that thong to the side.
No fucking way. This just keeps getting worse.
The cutscenes are all well done. They're a massive step up in quality from what we had before. They expanded quite a bit more on the lore itself. There are tons and tons of design and chapter changes that feel natural. They feel like they belong. There's other funny moments too. Leon will say things that no one should say, and it's like foreshadowing about this big hammer and who could really pick that up.
Good luck finding someone big enough to use this thing.
It's just a really, 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 really fun game, and I think anyone can enjoy this. And I keep playing it over and over again because it's so damn fun. I don't know if I'll ever uninstall this game because I'm always getting the itch to play it. It's a gamer's game. It's a fun game. It's serious, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. The Leon one-liners, it's here, guys. It's all here, and I'm here for it. I can't even bring myself to nitpick something about this game. I can't. It flows too well. It has amazing pacing. And then I mentioned that I was jealous of Leon's hair. Resident Evil 4 Remake is once again a 10 and one of the best remakes in history, if not the best. The Resident Evil 2 Remake may have something to say about that, depending on your preferred style of play. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, as always. I don't know what we'll do next. It could be a review, it could be something else, but I hope you guys are ready for it. Take care. Have a good one. Peace.
Hey, it's that dog.